Hello everybody, what's going on? Emotempest here, and today we're back with another feature match. This is going to be the Mono Ice versus Soldiers. This is Fire Ice Soldiers, to be exact. Now, the main reason, this is some early testing. This testing is what led to us coming into where we are now in the meta. I think I've been infatuated, I guess, obsessed with Ice since we knew Jill was Ice. We had only predicted Torkoal to be a backup at this point, but he definitely exceeded all expectations. I think Ice got a lot of really cool cards this set, and Ice has been. We saw Ice at Worlds. We saw Ice all over in a couple of different locals and scenes up and down the country or whatnot. The other reason I wanted to share this with you is because I know Genesis had a lot of hype going into the set when it was revealed. There was a lot of plays. I really wanted to showcase this video because Taco's here on the right. Shout outs to him, of course, always for sitting through these games with me. But he put something together that really, I guess, shows some of the good qualities of this list. And some of the cool combos really puts the pressure on me early on, and then Ice takes, because Ice is a monocolor deck and takes a little bit. I am still playing Barnabas and Odin in this list, I believe. I forget if it is 2 or 3 at the moment, but yeah, I think the Kurasame is also what I ended up landing on ultimately with this mono Ice list. I know the deck list is already up on my channel, so this one's a little bit, not outdated, but overdue, I guess is the exact word that I'm looking for here. I wanted to have all these out with you guys as soon as the deck lists come out, but alas, life and work get in the way. So, we're coming up on turn 3, I believe, for Tacos here. He is going to be, I think, showing me exactly what this deck does, right? So we're playing 5 for Genesis. Genesis says you can either make the next one, next soldier cost 3 less, I think it is, or dull freeze or something, right? Or discard or something like that. Yeah. So right there, he chooses to discard, opting to. He knows the deck doesn't have any immediate outs to a 5-drop 9K, and he's not wrong. Even if I decide to Barnabas here, which you see in my hand, there's really nothing I can do. Short of dulling and then breaking a dull forward or whatever, right? So we're taking the option to just finish lining our backups because the situation doesn't really require anything else, right? Sometimes unfortunately you can't always answer what's on the board, and so you have to just keep putting yourself in the best position to stay ahead for the next couple rounds, the next couple turns or whatever. And like I said, Taco's is set up here now. He has his Genesis. He's going to go ahead and take his turn. And I believe this is the one where he goes ahead and he drops all of the soldiers that really impact the game. I decide, what really stipulates the next plays I make. Here I'm very falsely misled into thinking he's only going to play 1 or 2. Maybe I dull freeze, discard 1. I was analyzing my hand just a moment ago, thinking what I could pitch and what would be the most helpful. But he's also trying to figure out. So he's going to go for the attack first, see what he triggers. Barnabas. Oh, I guess it's not just yet. He's holding off for a bigger turn. The other problem this list has, and I find this when I'm playing Fire Ice a lot more now. I know we landed on Joseph into Minwoo as a fire backup string, but there isn't much else other than these cadets or Agito cadets. I think that they search each other now. So I'm looking for something here. Best way to go is just pass it off. He's gonna go ahead and hit the Jill with the Edward. Make sure I can't recur it. He knows to play Adolis, so hitting stuff out of the break zone is important. Things like that are things you have to keep in mind when you're always playing. If you see any kind of recursion, you just want to start slowly plucking at stuff if you're able to. But yeah, going back to the backups, like I was saying, the Miyu and I can't remember that one, that ice one's name, or just a couple of strings, right? It's not like Earth, but we have Claris into everything, so a lot of these other decks have to improvise. Mono Ice is no different. We only have Quistis to reveal 4 grab an ice card, and then Amina to search a 2-drop, 2 or less, sorry. And those aren't really strings, those are just, you know, plays. Strings are what we like to, you know, that one card leads into another, etc., etc., and it goes on for at least 1 or 2, right? That's why we like forwards that search backups and backups that search more backups, pretty much. So he went ahead and played the Whis with no trigger. He's gonna make me discard off of Genesis when Zach enters. Whis is going to dual freeze. Yep, the Shinryu, which is good. We'll activate it. Decide to pump here, make him 10k. Sorry, 9k, I believe. And then I'm not sure what he called with the Zach trigger. Just Kefka off the top hits the duel. One of the cool things too is that you have that Zach always in line. You have that Zach always available to you when you play this fire version of this deck. And so as long as you hit Genesis on the board and you don't have other cards, you do have your Limit Break, which has gives you access to the soldier files, soldier jobs. And I think that's important when we decide to build decks, right? Because right now we're seeing that Knights, you know, you have a Beatrix in there, and there's a lot of different Limit Breaks that are slowly coming up, right? We have a total of what? 2 sets worth? And then next it will be no different. Yep, we come in for the big Jill play. I might be misremembering this match actually. I think this might have been game 2 out of the series. So I vaguely remember Tacos destroying me, or like putting the pressure on me earlier with all these cards. Yep, and just like that, we lose the Shiva Jill. But Sephiroth is one you never really you always underestimate. You can forget. I definitely think it's a highly overlooked card. I know we sometimes see it still as a one-of, as a quick cantrap, but we go ahead and use the Unaliska here to make him discard. And then we pop a Sturges, another Victoria. Oops, alright. It's the Sturges. I grabbed the wrong one. Yep. Because I only tapped 3. And then we want to keep the Shinryu Celeste up the whole time so we can outlive things. I have to discard here. Pitch the Mateus. I found that I think Mateus is a good one that leads into is good for a lot of specific matchups, but I didn't find it too useful here. I always found myself pitching it, and being as I kept trying the Odin's, Unaliska was very much alive. And now we're just gonna go into the Kate Sith, freeze his backups, force him to discard, and then keep the momentum. The combo for most mono ice lists should be this. You get them to a point where they're, having to, overextend, and then you can play the Katsith, get them to discard. On the next turn, when they have no backups, they kind of just draw pass, and then you drop the Kurasame. That's the biggest thing that I've learned from playing Mono Ice. It's quite a devastating 2-turn like combo. The Xenos is an interesting one, right? Because it's forcing me to discard, gets things out of the break zone. Between that and the Edward, we choose to discard the Kurasame. We could have easily just dull froze everything, but because we were going for, we're going to try to close out the game soon, we wanted to keep the Barnabas. I think I wanted to show off the Barnabas too. Once again, the Shinryu Celeste just pumping up over all these guys. And we pass. The Shinryu is one of the key cards that I find is useful in a lot of more meta matchups. These are pretty much rogue decks throwing down at each other, right? Like, you know, it's very rare that you see Mono Ice, and soldiers at this point in time are almost non-existent, right? I don't think the deck is fast enough. There's not enough value in the cards you play. Yes, you can, you know, develop your board a little faster between, you know, with the Angeal and whatnot, but ultimately, with it, there's no card advantage, right? You just play everything out, and then you're kind of just floating there. Just saying hi to the boys. And then, and realistically, is if Genesis doesn't survive, right? Genesis doesn't have the same impact as a Tyvos does or whatever. And so if he doesn't survive, the deck kind of just falls suit, right? And I think that's where the strength, where the deck lacks. I mean, there's enough in there for Fire Ice and even Ice Lightning to dance around with. I know we have different soldiers in both colors, but it's still pretty like slim. Honestly, and here at this point, I'm not even using any of the cards in my hand. I could have easily probably closed this one out. I'm not sure if I had pitched all the Odins at this point, because I know I think I drew one there, and I used 2 earlier to discard for Unaleska. I think this is one of the early on games where I was still remembering these cards, and so I had forgotten that Odin innately has haste and first strike, so I could have definitely played him on the board here, forced him to take some licks off of the damage here, or had him at least keep him upright here, so no one tries to swing over. The Rufus could obviously just dull and freeze, but I'm only at 2 damage. Nothing really threatening here. Right here, as soon as he enters battle, we just go ahead and dull freeze with the Shiva. He's going to remove a card, force me to discard. I'm going to give up the Quistis, or the Barnabas, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely out of Odins at this point. I think here we can deal Dole to a 7k to a Dole. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the Surges. And being at a limit break here is It's also just no good. I decided to save him, actually. Realistically, I didn't need to lose that. I know these are just test hands and test games that we practice, but sometimes it's important to remember the optimal lines and play accordingly, so you know what. And then there's the Kurosami for the closeout. Again, probably could have done it a little sooner, but I think I wanted to showcase the deck a little bit for you guys. So hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure to stay tuned, and if you want to see more on this mono ice list, check out the deck profile. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next one.